It's 2 a.m., and suddenly, out of nowhere, a sharp stabbing pain shoots through your calf. You jump out of bed, muscles twisted, toes curled, and you're left standing there, half asleep, half crying, wondering, why does this keep happening to me? Sound familiar? If you've ever had a leg cramp at night, what I'm about to reveal will change how you see your body forever, because that pain, that sudden scream from your muscles, is not random. It's a warning. Welcome back to our source for proven senior health guidance, where we uncover the silent dangers inside your everyday health problems and reveal science-backed solutions your doctor might never mention until it's too late. Tonight, we're digging deep into nighttime leg cramps, the real reasons why they happen, the hidden nutritional deficiencies behind them, and most importantly, what you can start doing tonight before bed to finally stop waking up in pain. Let's start with the emotional reality. If you've had night leg cramps before, you know the fear. You start going to bed anxious, worried, wondering if tonight will be another episode. You stretch your legs before sleep. You adjust your pillow. You lie down, hoping your muscles will behave. But deep inside, there's always that lingering fear. What if it happens again? And then it does. Again and again. And soon, your sleep quality drops. Your energy tanks. Your mood suffers. And nobody around you really understands how something as simple as a leg cramp can leave you exhausted, scared, and frustrated. But here's what most people don't know. That cramp is a message from your body, a desperate scream for help. So, what's actually happening inside your muscles when that cramp hits? Let me break it down. Muscles contract and relax based on tiny electrical signals sent from your nerves. For this to happen smoothly, your body depends on a delicate balance of minerals called electrolytes: magnesium, potassium, calcium, sodium. These four work together, like an orchestra, each one playing its part, keeping your muscles relaxed, balanced, and under control. But here's the scary part. When even one of these minerals falls out of balance, the electrical signals get messed up. The result? Sudden, involuntary, painful muscle contractions, cramps. Now, you might think, okay, I'll just drink more water. But water alone won't fix this. Because hydration is only part of the story. The real game changer is mineral balance. And if you're over 50, the problem gets worse. Why? Because as we age, our body's ability to absorb minerals from food drops. Medications like diuretics for blood pressure, they flush out potassium and magnesium. Reduced kidney function, it changes how your body handles electrolytes. Less sun exposure, that can drop your vitamin D, which affects calcium absorption, and suddenly, without warning, your risk of cramps skyrockets. But it gets even more complex. Because poor circulation, often linked with aging, makes it harder for your muscles to get the nutrients they need. So the perfect storm begins. Low minerals, poor blood flow, tired muscles, all setting the stage for that 2 a.m. nightmare. Now, here's where things take an even more serious turn. Did you know that frequent night leg cramps could actually be an early warning sign for cardiovascular problems? Yes. Multiple studies have shown that people who regularly suffer from night cramps, especially those over 50, may also have undiagnosed circulation issues, plaque buildup in arteries, narrowed blood vessels, or poor venous return. In other words, your cramps could be your body's way of saying, hey, your blood flow is compromised. Fix this before it turns into something worse. I'm not saying every cramp means heart disease, but ignoring this pattern is dangerous, especially if you also experience cold feet, numbness, or tingling sensations along with your cramps. So if that sounds like you, please, take this seriously. Let's zoom in on one mineral that over 50% of adults are deficient in, but almost nobody gets tested for: magnesium. Magnesium is your body's natural muscle relaxer. It controls over 300 biochemical reactions, including nerve conduction, muscle function, and even how your heart beats. But due to soil depletion, processed foods, and chronic stress, most people aren't getting enough. And here's the scary part. The early warning signs of magnesium deficiency include exactly what we're talking about: muscle cramps, restless legs, twitching, fatigue, poor sleep. If you've been battling night leg cramps and also feeling tired, anxious, or unable to sleep deeply, magnesium could be at the root of it. And the fix this? Often as simple as adding magnesium-rich foods like spinach, almonds, or even a small magnesium supplement before bed. But hold on. We'll get to the actionable what to do tonight part in a minute. First, let me explain why potassium, another forgotten mineral, could also be playing a role. Potassium works alongside magnesium to regulate muscle contractions. Low potassium? Your muscles misfire. Too much potassium loss? Cramps, fatigue, heart palpitations. And here's the thing, if you sweat a lot, drink caffeine, or take diuretics for high blood pressure, you're flushing potassium out of your body without even realizing it. And the symptoms creep in slowly. A little more tired in the afternoons, a bit more twitchy at night. And then, one night, snap. A leg cramp that sends you flying out of bed. That's why addressing potassium through foods like bananas, sweet potatoes, or coconut water is critical. But even with good potassium and good magnesium, one more mineral is needed to complete the puzzle, and that's calcium. You've probably heard that calcium builds strong bones. But what they don't tell you? Calcium is also essential for muscle contraction. Too little calcium in your bloodstream, and muscles become hypersensitive, more likely to spasm, more likely to cramp, especially at night, when your body's calcium regulation shifts during sleep. This is particularly true for women over 50, as declining estrogen levels affect calcium absorption. So again, balance matters. Magnesium to help muscles relax, potassium to regulate nerve signals, calcium to stabilize contractions. Ignore one, and the whole system falls apart. Now, here's something almost nobody talks about. Your breathing. Yes, your breathing plays a direct role in nighttime cramps. Why? Because improper breathing pattern, especially shallow chest breathing, lead to carbon dioxide imbalances in your blood. Low CO2 levels affect how calcium and magnesium are distributed in your bloodstream. This triggers hyperexcitability in nerves. And boom, cramps. Ever noticed cramps are worse on nights when you're stressed? That's not a coincidence. Stress increases shallow breathing. Shallow breathing affects CO2, and that disrupts electrolyte balance. So one simple practice? Deep diaphragmatic breathing for 5 minutes before bed. It sounds too simple to work, but many people report reduced cramp frequency after fixing their breathing habits. Now, let's get into what you've been waiting for. The exact 5-minute bedtime routine that could finally break the cycle of painful, sleepless nights. This isn't guesswork. This is based on clinical research, real patient testimonials, and hard science. So if you've been suffering from night cramps for months, or even years, listen closely, because every step matters. Step 1. Start with hydration. But not just any hydration. Most people think gulping a big glass of water before bed will help. Wrong. That just sends you running to the bathroom at 3 a.m. Here's the trick. Sip a small glass, around 150 to 200 milliliters, about 1 hour before bedtime. And into that glass, add a pinch of sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Why? Because water alone doesn't deliver minerals. The tiny bit of sodium in that salt helps your body retain the fluid and improves electrolyte absorption. You don't want to overdo the salt, just a pinch, enough to taste. Step 2, magnesium priming. About 30 minutes before bed, either eat a magnesium-rich snack, like a handful of almonds, a few pieces of dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao, or take a low-dose magnesium supplement, preferably magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate. Why these forms? Because they absorb quickly, and they calm the nervous system. If supplements aren't your thing, even soaking your feet in warm water with Epsom salt for 15 minutes can help. Your skin absorbs magnesium transdermally, so yes, a simple foot soak can reduce cramp frequency. Step 3, potassium top-up. If you've been sweating a lot, drinking coffee, or taking blood pressure meds, your potassium is likely low. Before bed, eat half a banana, or a small baked potato, or drink half a glass of coconut water. This gives your muscles the potassium they need to stay calm overnight. Step 4, stretching, but not the way most people do it. Don't just do quick toe touches and think you're done. Here's the 2-minute targeted stretch routine. First, calf stretch. Stand facing a wall. Place your hands on the wall. Step 1 foot back, keeping the heel flat. Lean forward, feeling the stretch deep in your calf. Hold for 30 seconds per leg. Then, hamstring stretch. Sit on the edge of your bed. Extend one leg straight. Reach gently toward your toes, keeping your back straight. Hold 30 seconds each side, and finally, ankle mobility. Rotate each ankle, clockwise and counterclockwise, 10 times each. This improves circulation and prevents tight fascia from triggering cramps. Step 5, the breathing reset. Now, this is where most people roll their eyes, but don't. Lay flat on your back. Place one hand on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose, making your belly rise. Exhale slowly, making your belly fall. Do this for 2 minutes. This resets your CO2 balance, relaxes your nervous system, and prepares your muscles for a cramp-free night. So maybe you tried the bedtime routine last night. Maybe for the first time in weeks or even months you didn't shoot awake clutching your calf in agony. Maybe you woke up thinking, was that just luck? But I'll tell you this, it wasn't luck, it was proof. Proof that your body wants to heal. It wants balance. And when you give it the right tools, even something as persistent and painful as nighttime leg cramps can begin to fade. But this isn't the end. Because what you felt last night, that was just the beginning of your recovery. And to stay cramp-free, not just for a day or a week, but for the long haul, you need to go deeper. So in this section, we go further than short-term relief. We uncover long-term transformation. Let me ask you something personal. How often do your cramps come? Once a week, every other night? Or are they so frequent that you now fall asleep in fear? Here's the thing. The frequency of your cramps is your body's feedback loop. If they're rare and mild, it's a gentle tap on the shoulder. But if they're chronic, intense, and disruptive, your body is screaming. It's telling you that a long-term imbalance has taken root. One that goes deeper than hydration or mineral intake. And this is where many people get stuck. They try a remedy once or twice, it helps, and they stop. But the root problem remains. The nervous system stays tense. The inflammation simmers below the surface. The blood flow remains sluggish. And within days, the cramps are back. So here's the truth. Short-term relief is important. But without long-term strategy, you're just pressing pause, not solving the problem. Here's where it gets interesting. Did you know that inflammation, not just mineral imbalance, is one of the biggest culprits behind chronic cramps? Here's how. When inflammation rises in your body due to poor diet, stress, sedentary behavior, or even undiagnosed infections, it increases the sensitivity of your nerve endings. That means the signals sent to your muscles become distorted, overactive, erratic. So instead of calm, coordinated movement, you get misfiring nerves and tight, painful contractions, cramps. And here's the kicker. This kind of nerve inflammation doesn't always show up on scans. You won't see it in a blood test, but you feel it. At night, when the body slows down, and inflammation's effects get magnified. This is why chronic cramp sufferers often report other low-grade inflammatory signs: brain fog, joint stiffness, gut discomfort. It's all connected. The real enemy, not just mineral loss, but systemic inflammation. So, how do you fight inflammation long-term? It starts with food. Adding more anti-inflammatory foods to your diet is like turning down the fire that's burning your nervous system from the inside out. Leafy greens like kale and spinach, colorful berries loaded with anthocyanins, omega-3 rich foods like flaxseed, walnuts, and sardines, turmeric, especially when paired with black pepper for absorption, and perhaps most importantly, cutting back on the foods silently fanning the flames: refined sugar, seed oils, ultra-processed snacks, and alcohol. Think of this shift as medicine, because that's exactly what it is. Your kitchen becomes your pharmacy. Now let me tell you something very few people ever hear. Your feet. Tell the truth about your circulation. If your feet are cold at night, if they tingle, if they swell during the day, then blood isn't flowing properly, and that means your leg muscles are starving for oxygen, starving for minerals, starving for nutrient delivery. So they cramp. Not because you're broken, but because they're suffocating. This is why even a 5-minute walking routine, done multiple times a day, can make a dramatic difference, because walking activates your calf muscles. And guess what those muscles are often called? The second heart. Why? Because they pump blood back up to your torso and brain. Improved circulation means better mineral delivery, better oxygen flow, fewer cramps. So ask yourself, how much are you really moving? And how often are you letting your feet go cold and still? Now comes the hardest truth, the one most people don't want to hear. And it's this: chronic pain often has an emotional memory. If you've lived with fear of cramps for years, if your body has built a nightly routine of tension and anticipation, if you've mentally braced yourself for pain every night for months, then your nervous system has wired itself for hypervigilance. In simple terms, your body expects pain, so it prepares for it. And in doing so, it creates the very tension that triggers the next cramp. This isn't weakness, it's survival instinct. But it also means your healing must go beyond the physical. You must untrain your fear. One breath, one night, one success at a time. This is why deep breathing before bed matters so much. Because it's not just about relaxing muscles. It's about calming the part of your brain still preparing for an attack. Letting go of that mental knot is essential. Let's go back to that night when you first felt the pain, that sharp, silent, burning scream in your leg that ripped you out of sleep. Now, imagine if you had heard it as a whisper, a warning, your body asking for help before it needed to scream. Would you have listened then? Would you have acted sooner? Well, the beautiful thing is, it's not too late. Because the fact that your body still cramps, it means it's still trying, still sending signals, still fighting for balance. So tonight, when you do your bedtime routine, when you stretch gently, breathe deeply, sip water with a pinch of salt, you're not just preventing pain, You're answering a cry for help. You're building trust again. You're proving to your body that you're listening now. If this video connected with you, if you felt something stir when you realized your cramps were more than just a nighttime annoyance, then don't stop here. Leave a comment telling me which part hit hardest. Was it the mineral connection, the inflammation, the circulation, or the emotional insight? And if you haven't already, like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Because here at our source for proven senior health guidance, we don't just teach hacks. We help you rebuild trust with your body. One insight at a time. And trust me, your legs will remember, your sleep will return, and your life will feel free again. See you in the next one.